12 months and 100 books later, I'm here to talk about my top 12 reads of the year in no specific order because, it was hard enough trying to get my top books of the year. I can't be bothered with trying to put them in order, okay? Starting with Zeal. We have two timelines in it. I'm speechless. You got me. Each Lance. We have two timelines in this book. Present day is 2019 Harlem. We are dealing with Ardelia and Oliver. They are at their engagement party, and Oliver is giving his speech. Right, he's talking about, "I love you, baby. We're gonna be together forever. You my boo. You my lover. My thing." Da 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 da. Right, and he starts reading off this little piece of paper that's been in his family for years. From there, we jump back in time right after the Civil War, and Harrison he's now a free man. He's trying to get back home to his woman. Her name is Terza. And we mostly in this book we stay in the past. We're dealing with Harrison, Terza, and their dealings, and we go along in their bloodline, and that's how we get to present day time with Ardelia and Oliver. We do flip back and forth, but mostly we're in the past, which I enjoyed because dual timelines are always hit or miss for me. So I enjoy when we stick with one for the most part. But I loved this book. I thought this was phenomenal from beginning to end. It captured me. It took me by the neck and it didn't let me go. I would highly recommend reading this book. The Build a Boyfriend Project by Mason Deaver. First of all, let's take a moment for the cover. First of all, let's take a moment. Let's take a moment. Everyone bow your head. Bow your head for the cover. Do you see that? Do you see this? Do you see this? Are you seeing it? Are you seeing it? I saw the regular cover. It was cute. It was cute. Then I saw this one. Of course I had to get it. This book is about what that boy name was. His name was Eli. Manning Eli. Eli Francis is stuck in an assistant position at the online magazine Vent when he should be a writer. He hates his job, okay? And one of his friends, who set him up? Somebody set him up with this boy named Peter, right? Peter has been in San Francisco for a couple of years, and he works from home. He don't really have no friends. He don't go out. He don't do nothing. He order DoorDash, Uber Eats, all that, and he work at home doing his little coding. He don't do nothing. People down at the job ain't even seen him in person, nothing but maybe once or twice. Actually, I don't even think it was once or twice. They only seen him in the Zoom meetings. Peter don't be fucking with nobody. Peter stays at the house, okay? And their first date goes it goes wrong in so many ways. And Eli comes back to work and he's like, "Girl, why you hook me up with that man? That man didn't even know how to string a few words together for one sentence. I can't be going out with that man." It goes horrible. But then they come up with this plan, and Eli's like, "Look, Peter, I can help you learn how to date. And then I can write a little article about it." Or whatever, right? Hold on, let me make sure I got it right. Yeah. Eli is like, "Look, I can give you tips on how to date better or whatever, because it's not going to work between us, but maybe I can make you better for the next man. If you let me write a article about, you growing up queer in the South, okay?" And he agrees, but Eli has ulterior motives because his boss is like, "Look, write an article about, teaching this dum-dum how to be a better man." So, he's caught in between. I'm going to tell you right now, Peter carried this book. Peter carried this book on his back. I did enjoy Eli as a character. I did indeed. But it's like Peter was written as a much stronger character. Was indeed. I enjoyed them both. Nice chemistry. That's what I will say. The chemistry between them was really good. But Peter was the star of the show for me. That's all I'm saying. Dominion. I talked about this book. I said I was going to try and get to it before 2025 ended. I did that. I didn't think I was going to get to it, but I did. This book is about, we have two main characters, Diamond and Priscilla. Priscilla is the first lady. Her husband, Reverend Winfrey, he leads his flock. He's standing up at the pulpit. He's telling you everything you're doing wrong, what you need to be doing right. Meanwhile, he's a fraud. He's a hypocrite. He at home cheating and beating. Okay? And we know so often in life, women get the short end of the stick. That's no different here in a church, in this church community. And we have Wonder Boy, who is the son of Priscilla and Reverend Winfrey. They have 5 boys, but we mainly focus on Wonder Boy. And he's violent, he's angry, he's horrible to almost everybody around him, but especially the women in his life. And he does something really like horrible that's gonna just upend this community. And throughout this book, you see all the things that go that's wrong with the church community. And I've seen this with my own eyes in real life. And so while I enjoyed reading this book, it's very soap opera. It's very soap opera-esque. And it's a juicy, messy read. The thing, I don't want to spoil it. I'm not going to spoil it for y'all. But the thing that, sets all the drama off that Wonder Boy does, when I got to it, I was like, okay. It's just, I feel like while I do believe it's true, it does happen in real life. The reason, his inner feelings, why he acts this way. It's so overplayed, I feel like. And it's just so often when we get angry, violent men, we say, oh, this is the reason. That's the reason. That's the reason they're this way. And I don't know. I don't know. So I do have some issues with this book. I do have some hangups. Overall, I did really enjoy this though. The love lyric. I've actually spoken about this book like several times throughout this year, so I'm not going to spend too much time on any of these, but I won't spend a lot of time on this one because 5 stars. It was amazing, top tier. I enjoyed this whole series. The Neighbor Favor, The Partner Plot, and The Love Lyric. I don't know. I think The Neighbor Favor might slightly still be, edging this one out. But this Neighbor Favor and Love Lyric are definitely top 2. I enjoyed The Partner Plot, but it is my least favorite. I'm not sure where this one lands, because sometimes I feel like I like it better than Neighbor Favor. Other times, I don't know. But love this down. Zora Neale Hurston's Their Eyes Were Watching God. It's a classic. It's a classic for a reason. Yes, this was my first time reading it this year. I had never read it before. Not too much on me, like I said the first time when I talked about it. I see why it's a classic. From beginning to end, I was enthralled. I enjoyed this, and I will be reading it again. Cursed Daughters. This, fantastic. How long was this book? Because I feel like this was like the perfect length. I remember when I was reading this, I was like, oh yeah. The chapters were short. We were getting to what we needed to get to. It didn't stay around too long. This was like the perfect length for yeah. How long is this? Was this 339, 350? Hold on. How many pages? It's like 350 something. Yeah. Cause y'all know what I say? 350, clock me out. But yeah, this is like a little over 350 pages, perfect length. The chapters were short. We were getting right to it. You all right with me? You all right with me, girl? Listen, this book is about Ebon. She gives birth to her daughter Iniye. I hope I'm saying those names are right. See what happens when you read physical instead of listen to the audio? You don't know how the names pronounced. I pulled up the audio to get a little sample. I think it definitely is Ebon. The rest of the names, I have to double check. But she gives birth to her daughter Iniye the day that her favorite cousin, dies. And for all of her life, Iniye is told that, oh, you look like your auntie, even though it would actually be her cousin. But how black people do. But you look like your auntie, you your auntie reincarnated, blase. And so she's lived her entire life, just basically being told you are your auntie. So she feels like her life has never truly been her own. And years ago, there was a curse put on this family by one of her ancestors because she was doing a little something she wasn't supposed to be doing. She was fooling around with somebody else's man. So they wanted to put a curse on her and said for generations, your family will never, no woman in your family will ever have a man call her home. Okay, it's not going to work. So not only is she, living under this curse, she's also living a life that nobody will seem to see her as as a person with her own identity. I truly enjoyed this from beginning to end. It's mostly centered around the women in this family. It's a multi-generational story. One of my favorites. And I love this. I highly recommend it. Highly recommend it. Quickly before I move to the next book, I did just want to mention right here. You see these right here? They've been sitting right here for a while now. What's this? Isaac's Own and Good Dirt. While those books were released this year, 2025, I read them last year, 2024, because I got ARCs for them, and they were on my top books for 2024. But honorable mention, because most people would have read them this year. They should be on your top books. The Book of Luke. This book is about a man. It's about a man named Luke. Oh, Lukey boy, okay? Luke spent his early 20s on think of like Survivor, think Road Rules, those shows that used to come on MTV, those Road Rules, not Road, what is it? The Challenge, those challenges, where they were swinging from things, jumping over fire, doing all that, okay? Luke spent his early 20s on a show like that. It was called Endeavor. Yeah, I remember. So Luke spent his early 20s on a show like that after he had an accident that ended his football career. That's right here. It's right here on the front flap. Don't worry not. It is not a spoiler. Okay, he meets two people that are they become very special to him. The three of them form a trio. They're best friends, blase, blase, blase. And then, something happens that splits up their group. He falls in love with this other guy who turns out to be horrible. Horrible, 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 horrible. This book shows how white gay men, at the end of the day, will always be white. White queer people, they will always be white at the end of the day, and they can get by on relying on that in society when it comes to oppression. Yes, they will be discriminated against because they're gay, but their other counterparts from different races don't have the same privilege as them because they're not white. And Luke is the prime example of that because he marries a man who gets into government, a big old bigot, okay, is what his husband is, okay? And while all this is happening, Luke turns a blind eye because he's like, well, I know his heart. I know who he truly is. Well, I'm just, I just want to take care of the kids because they have children. And, blase, 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 X, Y, and Z. This, that, and the third. So Luke is not a good person either because you married a man. And you just letting them skate on. You just letting them skate on. Doing all this horrible shit, getting on TV, spouting all these horrible things. But over time, you see Luke's growth and you see his journey. And while he has to go back on the show after something happens, and he has to go back on the show for money. And he reconnects with old friends and old enemies. And it's just a whole bunch of shit happening. I really, really did enjoy this book. I will say that it could have been a tad bit shorter. Just a tad bit. And then y'all know I wasn't going to get through this video without saying that. You already know that. Just a tad. It didn't like really overstay its welcome too long. I think really what it was is that I could have done with a few more scenes outside of the show Endeavor, outside of the challenges. And while I know it's literally in the synopsis, that's what the book is about, the man being on the show. I just needed a few more scenes outside of the show. That's all. Just a few. Futbolista. This book is about Gabriel Pena. He is a freshman in college, and he wants to be a football star. He want to go to the big leagues. Okay, he want to go to the big leagues playing the soccer. Okay, and we follow along with him on his journey as he discovers who he truly is. He's in college. You know the story. You know the story. And he has his bi-awakening. He starts developing feelings for this guy named Vale, and we follow along on their journey basically as they fall in love, and also both finding out who they are in college, blase blase, and as Gabriel he's trying to go follow his dreams, all that. I thought this was a great story. The relationship Gabriel had with not only Vale but his friends and his family, it was told beautifully. It was a really good story. Funny at times, heartfelt. I enjoyed it. We All Live Here. This was my first book by this author, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. This book is about a woman. What that woman name was. What your name is. Lila got her 2 kids, her stepdaddy, her birth father, and she's going through a divorce while also grieving her mother, and she just like, look, y'all just got to give me a break. Lila is at her wit's end. Like, please get up off the woman's back. Give her a break, please. I really, really enjoyed this. This was funny, just like Futbolista. I'm gonna stop doing that. I'm sorry. It was funny at times. It was heartfelt. I really, really did enjoy this story. Like y'all already know, I've said it a million times. Like multi-generational stories, family mess, drama. I'm like you can never go wrong with me. You can, but also you can't. Okay, yeah, you just cannot. Siblings, just multi-generational stories, just like anything having to do with the family mess and the drama. It's just you got me. You got me. Red Clay, another. I read this early on in the year. Top tier. Amazing. Top tier. Like, this is a book. I still think about this book. Like, I will be thinking about all of these for quite some time. Like, and just, I truly will. And I have not stopped thinking about this book since I read it earlier this year. Anytime I walk by my bookshelves and I look down and I see this book on the shelf, and it just, I'm there again. I'm there again. This is one of those books because some of these it took me a little while to get into. Like I had a few issues with. Like no book is perfect, but this is one that so surprised me because I was hooked from beginning to end. It really did grab me and it did not let me go. Okay, it truly didn't. This is about, it's in 1943 when a frail old white woman shows up in Red Clay, Alabama at the home of a black former slave on the morning following his funeral. His family hardly knows what to expect after she utters the words, "A lifetime ago, my family owned yours." Adelaide Parker has a story to tell, one of ambition, betrayal, violence, and redemption that shaped both the fate of her family and that of the late Felix H. Parker. Okay, there we learn about Felix's life and his loved ones, his friends, his family, life after the war, and how it wasn't all just, oh, you're free now, life is so much better, no issues, no problem, like some people like to say. That's just not how it was. Okay, we know that. Okay, we know that. Lucky Seed. Talk about a wild book. Talk about a wild time. Talk about a story. This book is about a family. What the family name was? It wasn't the Roses. That was the auntie's name. The Sun, yeah, their last name is Sun. The billionaire Sun clan of Greater Los Angeles is your typical American family, with power-struggling aunties, emasculated uncles, scheming cousins, scandalous secrets, and a fortune teller on retainer. So, the grandfather dies in this story, right? And he's like the first person of the first grandchild to have a son. You get the family fortune. So schemes. They all like, I'm not about to have a child just to get this money. No, we got to find some other way. But then slowly they like, maybe that's the only way, truly. So we got to actually have a baby. And within that, like that's the main goal. Like, but within that, you have, as a synopsis just said, people doing schemes and scams and lies and secrets come about. And like these relationships with each other that they have, they're messy, fraught. And you're just along for this crazy, crazy ride. Now, at times it does get a bit too wonky. And I'm like, let's rein it in, please. But I read another book by this author this year, and they like the craziness. They like the whole throwing everything in there. I have learned. I have seen. But overall, I really, really did enjoy this book. And yeah, it got dark so quick. Like, god damn, I started this video, the sun was up. It ain't even been 30 minutes. It's damn near dark. It's time for bed. Oh shit. Number 12, our final book, Francine's Spectacular Crash and Burn. I read this book in January. This was one of the first books that I read this year. Did not disappoint. Did not disappoint. I got an ARC for this, and I held out on buying the physical once it came out because I didn't want a paperback. It could be a book I love. Like if I listened to an audiobook or if I read an ebook, of course I gotta buy the physical if I truly enjoyed it. Or sometimes if I'm just mad about it, I'll still buy the physical simply because okay, why not? I enjoyed it enough. I just really dislike paperbacks. I do. And I'll never feel shame for it. That's why you look at these shelves, it's 95% hardcovers. I really do have a strong dislike for paperbacks, but I had to support. I enjoyed this book. This is about a woman named Francine. She's 25. She's just lost her mother. She's losing her mind because her mother was her best friend. So one day she's dancing around in her apartment, no, her house. Yeah, she's dancing around in her house drunk, and she hears something going on outside. She sees that this little boy is being picked on, right? So she goes out. She's like, back the fuck up. Leave the little boy alone, okay? He runs in her house. She's like, whoa, buddy. Slow down, slow your roll. I was just trying to help you out. Don't be coming to my house, baby. I'm in here drunk dancing. Take your ass home. But she develops a close relationship with this little boy. She finds out he's in foster care. His foster family doesn't really care about him. They just taking care of him to get a check. They're just trying to get a money, okay? And so she slowly becomes closer. She develops a relationship. Blah, 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 blah. She develops a relationship with his foster family. Because she soon finds out, maybe there's a connection between them two. Maybe there's something going on. Da 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 da. And we go from there. In this book, we also discuss like what it means to be black. Like we all know black people are not a monolith. And while there is a lot that specifically black Americans is what I'm talking about. There is a lot that we have in common as black Americans. A lot of things that we say, a lot of things that we do. The way that we dress, like there is a thread there that connects us all, but we are not all the same. We know that. And that's something that Francine struggles with because she's like, oh, I'm not what everyone automatically expects me to be in the black community. And I have struggled with that because people pick on me about it, which is very valid. And at the same time, I don't believe just because that is the case that you can only find validation outside of the black community. Now, you can make a connection with almost anybody, okay? No matter what their race, ethnicity, nationality is, okay? So whoever you become friends with, you become friends with. But if you feel like the only way you can find comfort or community is outside of the black community, you're wrong. You're lying. You're not the only black person in the black community that's like you. I promise you. You're not. So you don't automatically have to go outside and kind of shun the entire black community simply because, oh, I'm not like this group in the black community, so I must only be friends with, or the only way I can find community is outside, And there were some things in this book that kind of gave that vibe, a bit, okay, a bit. But yeah. Overall, I did enjoy this book. I enjoyed my time with Francine. Francine pissed me off so many different times in so many different ways. But I still rooted for her. That's one of my favorite things after I finish a book. If you can have pissed me off, made me angry, but I still rooted for you, you've done your job. You've done your job. We went on a full journey together. Okay? And that's it. Those are my top 12 reads of 2025. I've read, like I said, 100 books. I hit the mark. I hit it right on the money. I didn't think I was going to hit it. We all know because it doesn't have to be said. But we've seen the video. We've seen multiple of them already. We see them every year. Well, you read 100 books. What did you do with your life? Well, you lying about it. Da, 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 da. It doesn't matter how many books. It does not matter. It doesn't. But if I read that many, I read that many. Shut up. But yeah, 100 books is always the arbitrary number that I set for myself. And if I reach it, I reach it. I didn't reach it last year. I lived, and so did you. But I did this year. I hit it right on the money. But yeah. And those are my top 12 reads of the year. Let me know down in the comments if you've read any of these. I have seen some of these books on some of my mutuals videos, in their top videos. Zeal was in quite a few, as it should be. Yeah. But let me know if you've read any of these, if you took recommendations from me and you enjoyed them, if you hated them, I respect it. Don't cuss me out, because I'll cuss your back out. But yeah, that's it. That's all I have for you. I'm just rambling now. But thank you for watching. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you're not subscribed. And I will see you in 2026. I hope you have a great new year, or have had a great new year, depending on when you watch this. Who knows? That's it. I'm done. Bye.